Ondo State's governor sacks executive council with immediate effect. Federal government on course to sell 5 power plants for $1 billion. Kogi health workers attacked over patients' death. On the foreign scene, Russian military plane crashes near Ukraine border. Hello and welcome to the news update on Trust Television. My name is Martia Umar. Thank you. Now the news in detail. The governor of Ondo State, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, has dissolved the state executive councils, and the governor also relieved all senior special assistants and special assistants of their duties. In a statement by his chief press secretary, Ebenezer Adeniyo, on Wednesday, the governor said that the development will take immediate effect. The statement said all members of the cabinet are immediately handed over to the permanent secretaries or the most senior administrative officers. Aiyedatiwa was on December 27, 2023 sworn in as the substantive governor of the state following the death of Governor Rotimi Akeredolu. And moving on, the former governor of Anambra State, Willie Obiano, has arrived at the Abuja division of the Federal High Court. He arrived in the company of some officials of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. The 68-year-old was arraigned before Justice Inyang Eko of the Federal High Court, Abuja. Obiano pleaded not guilty for the money laundering charges leveled against him. Counsel for the EFCC, Silvanus Tahir, asks that he be remanded in the custody of the Anti-Graft Agency. Obiano is currently on administrative bail granted him by the EFCC, which includes providing 2 sureties who are directors in civil service, own land properties in Abuja. And Justice Eko adopted the administrative bail and added that Obiano remains within the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, and travel documents be submitted to the court going forward. The court also stated that the immigration be allotted that all travel documents are with the court. The federal government, through the Bureau of Public Enterprises, is currently carrying out transactions from the sale of 5 power plants under the National Integrated Power Project at a cost of about $1.15 billion. It was gathered on Tuesday. Although reports said that the cost of the plants should exceed $5 billion based on international benchmark, they revealed that the BPE was planning to sell the facilities at a price that is a little above $1.1 billion. The acting Director General, BPE, Ignatius Ayewo, confirmed that the transaction is ongoing and it is not concluded yet. The 5 power plants to be sold included the 434 megawatt gas-powered Geregu 2 power plant located in Kogi and 441 megawatt Omotosho 2 power plant in Ondo and 750 megawatt Olongshogo 2 plant in Ogun State, amongst others. A retired principal in Kaduna, Malam Abdulkadir, who was abducted by hoodlums in Birnin-Gwari local government area of Kaduna State, has been freed by his abductors. The retired principal was abducted while delivering ransom to secure the release of some villagers in the area. Senator Shehu Sani, the former federal lawmaker representing Kaduna Central, confirmed his release on his official social media handle on Tuesday. According to the senator, Sani, Malam Abdulkadir was bitten and lost a tooth due to delay of payment of the said ransom. And the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 14, AIG Yahya Sahabo Abubakar, says that the Nigerian police force is set to establish a special intervention squad that will help address the prevailing security challenges in Kaduna State and its environs. The AIG said this in Kaduna during a visit to the state's police command. The report.
The recent renewed attacks by bandits on communities in Kaduna has assumed a worrisome dimension, not only to security agencies, but everyone as it affects all in the state. The AIG said during the visit that securing Kaduna State is key within the zone and beyond.
Kaduna State happens to be the center of gravity in the northern Nigeria for obvious reasons. It's also very, very close to the FCT, the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. And the proximity of the city and the state to the FCT makes it very, very strategic. And that it is our responsibility to make sure that Kaduna is safe and secure, just so as to make the FCT safe and secure. A safer Kaduna means a safer FCT.
According to AIG Yahya, the Nigerian police force led by Kayode Egbetokun is putting in place strategic measures to protect lives and properties in the country.
And I want to assure you that the IGP is doing everything he can to ensure that security is being restored along these places. You are all aware that a special intervention squad was just launched last week Thursday in Abuja, the FCT command, where the Inspector General of Police have launched this squad. This squad is a specialized and tactical squad that is properly and fully trained and equipped to deal with the emerging security threats in the country, particularly the type that exists in Kaduna State. And I want to assure you that that squad is going to be deployed in Kaduna State very soon.
Earlier, in his address, the Commissioner of Police Kaduna State Command, Ali Audu, said in the last 1 month, the police have apprehended various criminals in the command and helped reduce security challenges in the state.
Our push forward towards eliminating these criminal elements in the state will not stop until peace returns to our communities, to whom we owe this constitutional responsibility. I am confident that through constructive discussion, we will enhance our operational efficiency and collectively contribute to the safety and well-being of the residents of Kaduna State.
He assured that the Nigerian police force will not rest until all forms of armed banditry, kidnapping, and cattle rustling come to an end. Bella Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Matazo local government area of Katsina State have alleged that vigilantes are dispossessing them of their animals, urging Katsina State government to initiate their relocation to another part of Nigeria. The Fulani herders, who allege that vigilantes constantly attack their communities, on mere suspicion, an allegation Chairman of Matazo local government dismissed. Abdullahi Yamadi tells us more.
These Fulani herdsmen accused the vigilante group of Matazo local government of dispossessing them of their animals and handed over them to some military officers in Matazo, and many of their animals could not be retrieved from them. The herdsmen said when they contacted the military personnel deployed to Matazo local government, they were told to check for their animals in Katsina, as they have been handed over to the higher authority. On reaching Katsina, they were made to pay about 600,000 naira to take back the few animals they could find. We are in a very critical condition. Now, if any Fulani herdsman wants to relocate to another place with his animals, securities and vigilantes would not allow him. They would say he's a bandit. If you stay, they confiscate and kill you. Look, we sneaked out of our area to be here in Katsina, and we were harassed and intimidated along the road, even when we were accompanied by our ward head. We really don't know what to do and where to go. We have been dispossessed of our entire means of livelihood. We are not spared by bandits. The constituted authorities are labeling us as collaborators to bandits. And all we are saying, let there be justice. Investigate us. If we are guilty, then prosecute us accordingly. But don't treat us as enemies. However, Chairman of Matazo Local Council Shamsuddin Muhammad Sayaya, while reacting to the allegations, said the claims are baseless and unfounded, calling on all well-meaning citizens of the area to support government's efforts and commitments of fighting bandits and their collaborators.
In a security operation like this, I believe those in the possession of those animals were not happy with the reprise, with the actions of the security personnel, because in one way or the other they collaborate with those bandits. They either give them shelter or they conspire with them in one way or the other. So they will say as much as they can to tarnish the image of the whole exercise.
This is not the first time herdsmen will raise alarm over excesses of vigilantes, including the proscribed Ensake and some security operatives in the state. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Kazana.
And away from Katsina now, the ongoing town hall meeting in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, is gaining traction as FCT Minister Nyesom Wike doubles down on the need for cooperation with security agencies to bolster security in the Federal Capital Territory. Habiba Tajai has more.
FCT Minister Nyesom Wike's Town Hall series strives to foster community government connections, addressing pressing public safety issues with a commitment to strengthen security forces. In this section, the engagement with stakeholders in Kwali Area Council includes community leaders and security heads following visits to Buari and Gwagwalada area councils. Concerns about impassable roads in Kwali and requests for military and police outposts in Wako prompted an urgent call for intervention.
Please, can you talk to our head on that aspect? Because if that road is in place, we will be able to check the back. This can be able to go because it's not operating. On that road, the service teams, the security agencies have been very, very clear to us, particularly in the local places and the city commissioner police and the army.
Acknowledging security challenges in the capital, Wike vowed to make the FCT unsafe for criminals amidst a surge in kidnappings, urging stakeholders to stay vigilant and actively contribute to addressing insecurity.
Government has no hesitation. When one has got to improve security, we have no hesitation. The president has directed me to let you know. He feels your pain, and that's why he said he must go and see all the area councils and talk to them about our now preparedness to face insecurity to logical conclusion.
The unprecedented town hall meetings have so far bridged the gaps between the FCT administration and communities regarding developmental issues and challenges. Habibat Ajayi, Trust TV News, Abuja.
This is the news update on Trust TV coming up after the break. Epileptic power supply make residents cry out. More news when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is the news update on Trust TV. That's if you're just joining us. But a look at some of our top headlines. Okay. We told you that Ondo State Governor sacks Executive Council with immediate effect. And the federal government on course to sell 5 power plants for $1 billion. And moving on to more news, in a significant move to support resettled displaced persons, Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Zulum has allocated 500 housing estates in Logomani community of Ngala local government area of the state. The returnees not only receiving housing but also essential livelihood packages, including bags of rice and other essentials, with men receiving a cash grant of 50,000 naira and women receiving 20,000 naira, among other items.
We are trying to address the root causes of the insurgency, which is reducing poverty. People who are living in the IDP are living in the IDP camp for about a decade, depending on handouts from governmental and non-governmental organizations. And this is not sustainable. Today we have seen a sustainable solution which is resettlement of people back to their communities in a dignified manner.
Now, as the power distribution crisis continues to rock states like Benue, most consumers have been complaining of paying far above what they consume due to estimated billing, although the introduction of the prepaid meter was meant to check complaints arising from the issue of estimated billing by distribution companies. However, the inability to meter all consumers have continued to raise questions among customers. Jimmy Azande reports.
Across the length and breadth of Makurdi, residents tell tales of insufficient power distribution in some areas, the breakdown of transformers and other power infrastructure in other areas. Despite this, one thing is consistent: the distribution of estimated billing on a monthly basis to customers, irrespective of the power consumed.
I don't think the government is doing the citizen a favor. They should provide prepaid meters to each and every consumer so that those people consuming will know that yes, they are consuming or they are paying for what they are consuming instead of estimating.
The government is not being sincere with the people of Benue State, especially we people who are not consumers. The company itself is not being prepared to give people a better life, because to me, I see the prepaid meter is better to use than the non-prepaid meter.
They urge the federal government to implement compulsory metering of houses and improve the power infrastructure in the country to address some of the anomalies. This, they say, will enhance effective utilization and reduce complaints arising from electricity supply.
Where houses are being metered, it controls the rate of electricity a lot, and they can also make their money. Where it's not metered, I think much time will be given to the energy what do they call it, disco, whatever they call it, that they should be able to meter all the houses. I can tell you that in my house I receive a lot of bills, 40, 30, and so on, which I don't consume that amount of energy. That is ridiculous.
The Jos Electricity Distribution Company highlights some of the challenges faced by the company in metering customers.
Part of the challenges is customer education, illiteracy. People does not know the importance of these meters, so they always look for shortcuts. The major challenges we have is people trying to cut corners. Issue of bypass. You see where customer on their own will want to get these meters destroyed so that they can have free energy and they can involve themselves in energy theft.
Makurdi residents say the government should execute policies that will enhance smooth power distribution and consumption by Nigerians. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
The United States is committed to strengthening genuine partnership in Africa, especially Nigeria, where it believes is essential because of its status as Africa's largest economy and democracy. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken disclosed this to journalists at State House Abuja, who covered his meeting with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Tuesday evening. Blinken said his discussions with the Nigerian president centered around a range of common priorities, including accelerating economic growth and opportunity in Nigeria. Kendi Amodu report.
A host of other topics of discussion revolve around climate action and permanent representation in the UN Security Council, as well as other international organizations that need to reflect the realities of the day. The US is also collaborating to support the development and use of artificial intelligence for good with 30 other African countries, and blue economic development, environmental protection science, and technology exchange through a new partnership for learning cooperation.
There remain some impediments that we hear from our own business community that I think stand in the way of maximizing those opportunities. One is the repatriation of capital. This is important. I know the central bank governor is working on that. And second is the ongoing effort to combat corruption, because companies that come in and invest want to make sure that they're going to be investing with a fair and level playing field. And corruption, of course, is a big impediment to that. Having said all of that, look, I do think we're seeing real movement.
Speaking on the situation in Niger, the U.S. Secretary General says the change of leadership in the West African country had worsened the security situation in the region due to exploitation of people and resources by Russian conglomerate Wagner and spiraling rates of violence and extremism. However, he pledged the support of the U.S. to Nigeria and the Lake Chad region partners to strengthen the capacity of their security forces in a variety of ways.
And it goes to having a comprehensive approach that genuinely focuses on citizen security, working with local communities in partnership, demonstrating that security forces are there first and foremost to protect them and to support their needs. By the way, that was an approach that was delivering results in Niger when President Bazoum was in office before he was deposed in a coup. And in every place where there's been an unconstitutional change in leadership, as I said, things have only gotten worse.
Anthony Blinken also touched on the situation in Gaza, clearly stating his country's opposition to displacement of people in the area. In the long run, Nigeria and the U.S. are agreed on principles which include the two-state solution, the importance of maintaining effective territorial integrity, and Palestinian government.
Permanent arrangements that go to the governance of Gaza, the security of Gaza, the redevelopment of Gaza. I think that's one question, but we've been very clear about opposing any permanent change to Gaza's territory configuration.
It's not surprising that Nigeria, of course, has been from the get-go very expressive with regards to the issue of proportionality of violence. The Israeli approach, in Gaza, we've expressed concerns.
Basically, the visit of the U.S. Secretary of State centered around establishing assurances that it is on the same page with the Nigerian government and renewing pledges of cooperation in areas of economic growth, counter-terrorism, and other forms of support. From State House Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
On the international scene, a Russian military transport plane crashed on Wednesday in Russia's Belgorod region. Russia's defense ministry said 65 prisoners of war and 6 crew members and 3 other people were on board the plane. Local Governor Vyacheslav Gladkov said that an unspecified incident had occurred in the region's Korochansky district, northeast of Belgorod city, and that he was going to inspect the site. Belgorod region, which borders Ukraine, has come under frequent attack from Ukraine in recent months, including a December missile strike, which killed 25 people. Still on the front, and Donald Trump is one step closer to an election rematch against United States Democratic President Joe Biden, as the former president secured a decisive victory in New Hampshire first in the nation primary on Tuesday. Within minutes of the state's polling stations closing, U.S. media announced Trump had beaten his Republican rival Nikki Haley by a substantial margin, dealing a powerful blow to her campaign. The final results have not yet been announced, but projections show that Trump, with a double-digit lead, will about half of the votes counted, and the ex-president's resounding victory follows a similarly strong showing in the Iowa caucuses last week, cementing his lead in the race for the Republican presidential nomination ahead of the November's general elections. And no presidential candidate has ever won the first 2 counties on the presidential race calendar, as Trump has now done and not emerged as their party's nominee. Video duration 28 minutes, about 28 seconds, and New Hampshire had been framed as Haley's last best chance to make a dent in Trump's runaway lead. But despite her loss, the former United Nations envoy said in a speech on Tuesday night that she plans to continue her campaign. And now let's look at the sports world now, where the Ghana Football Association late Tuesday sacked Chris Houghton as head coach of the senior national team with immediate effect. The Executive Council has also taken a decision to dissolve the technical team of the Black Stars. The FA said in a statement that the Ghana Football Association will in the coming days provide a roadmap on the future direction of the Black Stars. Hutton was sacked following Black Stars' woeful performance and eventual exit from the ongoing African Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast. And that brings us to the end of the news update at this hour. For more, follow us across all our social media platforms, where you get to see more documentaries and programming. My name is Martia Umar. Thank you for watching and stay tuned.